I was barely following this. I was barely following this situation. Extra Emily shamelessly doubles down on DMCA takedown, silencing critics, hoping to set a precedent. That is a long ass title, my dude. And also, I don't even know much about the situation. All I know is that Extra Emily is like one of like those OTK creators, and she just ignored a red light, and she got her ass beat for it on the internet. By the way, ref says desu. I have no idea. Let's look.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to be doing a follow-up to yesterday's video. As you can see with the title, it states this: Extra Emily effed around and found out after using DMCA takedowns to silence critics. So the streamer Extra Emily is a successful one, someone who works with OTK, but she has been under a lot of fire recently in the past few months for various controversies, and some of them I think are warranted and some are not. But some of the warranted controversies and criticism she's been facing stem from stuff like this, where she was banned for 1 day on Twitch after running a very clear red light while streaming and reading her chat, which was a ridiculous situation. But this controversy in particular, back from
I mean, I think that is definitely warranted. If you use your phone and you ignore a red light and then your excuses, oh, here everybody does this. I'm like, you are threatening others. You are threatening other people's lives in traffic because everyone does it. Oh, so if 100 people jump out of a window from a high floor building, do you jump after them? Because apparently you do things everyone does. Crazy argument.
January of this year has been the one that has personally affected her the most. I think that's very clear by her reaction to this, where on stream, she admitted that her parents had spent $170,000 on her college tuition, and she stated that they had no demand.
That's hella expensive, bro. That is hella expensive.
And that she pays this back, and instead she had no obligation to pay it back, that she didn't want to pay this back despite her own family saying this massive contribution to her education almost made them broke. She said she just didn't want to do it. And a lot of people took this really negatively. Her own chat was roasting her as a result of this. And this is the underlying story behind everything we're talking about in this video and in yesterday's video. And as a result,
I mean, this is like this, right? This is like this, right? It depends. I don't know the context of this, but if her parents gave her the money for her college tuition, and also said that she has to pay it back eventually, then obviously then you should pay it back. If not, then this isn't a particular big deal, but it's still kind of weird if you're not paying it back, regardless if the parents wanted to pay it, if the parents want it to be paid back or not.
Result of the backlash from that stream where she talked about the tuition, she would end up saying she's going to pay back her parents, and she's made several installments, including this initial one back in January where she paid $40-something thousand, and it's clear that she's doing this in steps. She's going to pay back her parents over the course of time. And again, a lot of people look at this and say, you're a millionaire, why aren't you paying this back in full immediately? But regardless, that is her plan. And of course, recently she made some more comments, or really led to more comments about this situation, where she called her dad, while of course streaming while driving once again, where she put her father on speakerphone, and he made a joke. And this is something I recognized in my video yesterday. I said this was clearly a joke. He was teasing her, but he said basically, where's the college tuition? Have you paid it back full yet? Where she says, Don't bring that up. I'm going to get canceled. This was the headline of this tweet made by the account Yeet, who shared a clip of what transpired.
I like this Yeet account. He just posts, uh, straight up doesn't care, just posts this shit. I like him. I like him.
In her now deleted stream, and Extra Emily, in response, did a DMCA takedown of this tweet, and things have really spiraled out of control from there. Here is a, I guess, active version of that same clip. You can check out my previous video where I shared this with the full audio, but basically, she's on the phone with her dad. He teases her about the college tuition thing, and she gets very triggered about it and hangs up on it. And this was shared by many accounts. Apparently this one, despite having nearly 1 million views on this tweet, was not important enough to get a DMCA takedown, unlike the previous account. But yeah, it's out.
I guess Yeet was more important. I mean, the reach of this Yeet account is quite good, so I guess so. A lot more people saw it. Or maybe she doesn't do it again because it puts a bad light on her.
Out there, this is something that's not unfamiliar to a lot of streamers. If you're gonna stream your whole life as Extra Emily does, clips will be taken and it'll make you look bad. But she felt the need to DMCA take down the Yeet account, but not other accounts. It's very confusing what her goals are. But Yeet stated very clearly, after getting financial support, a dedicated financial support from Dan Saltman, who said he would pay for all of the legal costs of this potential lawsuit. And Yeet said, release the claim or I will countersue or counterclaim with Dan's help and seek restitution and attorney's fees. He won't settle either. Last chance before this spirals out of control. And that's really where we left things yesterday, where there was no real response from Emily about this situation other than her DMCA.
This is once again just another thing that these content creators do, where they just, you say something retarded, you don't stand by it, or you do something retarded and you don't stand by it, and instead of owning it, you just DMCA people, which also makes you look bad. Someone made a Twitter. Obviously, a Twitter account like that exists if you probably put it into the search bar.
Takedown, but this morning she did make a magnum opus on the situation that is.
Oh God, a magnum opus. What are we about to read?
Eye-opening, to say the least. So she said this: I was holding off on saying something, but I would like to stand up for myself. Number one, I pay my parents in 6-month installments. It's May. The next payment is scheduled for June. My dad is trolling and joking. Which, by the way, to clarify two things, she has not DMCA'd my video sharing several clips of her from this year. And in my video, I talked about how I believed this was a joke from her dad who was trolling her. And I guess that's confirmed. And I also stated,
of course, like, what else? Of course, it makes sense that the dad was joking. I don't think the dad out of like, you need to pay the money, I need it. That was obviously a joke. She's paying it. So where's the issue?
that she has not paid back the full tuition and she's doing it in installments. And she confirmed this also. So everything I said in my video so far has been confirmed by Emily. But she says this further. Number two, I DMCA'd the clips because I knew Twitter has a hate boner for me and would absolutely blow it up, starting another massive hate train on an out-of-context clip where people would make assumptions about the truth. The internet did that anyways, so I guess it'll happen regardless. Love that. However, bitch, I don't regret DMCAing anyone when someone's main goal is to share a drama-baiting out-of-context clip that has no information and is most likely to start hate. Why would I keep a clip up if it's just promoting harassment and they're making money off of my unaltered content with the crying emoji? Now, if they do share a moment where I truly F up, then take responsibility and let the clips roam free. Or she'll say she'll take responsibility and let the clips roam free. Okay. So this is interesting because
Okay, I see no particular issue with that yet. However, I'm going to assume that there is going to be some things that she did where she did take down tweets. That is my assumption.
she's basically admitting that she's not only DMCAing people, but also doing so because she doesn't want things to blow up on Twitter. That is not the purpose of DMCAs.
Obviously, she is here abusing the system. Obviously. However, I guess it's understandable if you don't want clips to... It's not the right way, but it's understandable. The reaction is understandable if the clips get taken out of context that make you look bad on purpose. I feel like if people are that dense, then I feel like she should have done it, but it's understandable in a way.
It is to protect copyrighted content, not to silence people who are sharing clips of you doing things that clearly upset you in terms of how people react to those clips. I don't understand. The context is actually very full. The clip that was shared contained all the context. It just doesn't look good. Your father called you up, or you called up your father, and he said some jokes that people took in a certain way. If you don't like that, don't call your father on stream. Stop live streaming every moment of your life. Stop monetizing every waking moment of your life, and things like this won't happen, along with all the other various controversies that Emily has been facing over the past couple of months. This is ridiculous. They're trying to say that a caption and a set of criticism that was provided for this tweet that was sharing the clip is somehow out of context and only made to start hate. Well, maybe people are criticizing you for a clip that makes you look bad. Is it really that hard to digest?
It's understandable, obviously. However, I also think that I also have to point at the other side and I have to say, why do you not look at the situation and understand what is actually going on instead of taking the clip at face value? I have to say that as well. I feel like you have to both sides have to use their brain for a moment.
I know other people who are clearly friendly with Emily and OTK who have come out and said, this wasn't a good decision. Again, let's not even focus on the legal aspects, because many people make the case that she wasn't legally in the right for making this takedown, and this tweet by...
Obviously not. She used the DMCA thing for silencing, not for its intended purpose. That is understandable. That deserves criticism.
By the way, makes it even more clear. But even if she was in the legal right, was it the right thing to do in terms of common sense? No. Everyone knows this. It's the Streisand.
Yeah, I already want to say that Streisand effect. The more you try to hide something, the worse it'll get. So don't hide anything. Just straight up, just own it. Just let them, like, I look at this like this, right? She should have just sat down, not like just let the clips happen. Wait like 2 weeks, and the thing is over. Nobody remembers, because that's how Twitter works. Because then there's the new next villain popping up, so that makes sense.
Effect. Okay, this clip that likely would have been forgotten about in a few days is now becoming a center of controversy. It is now being used as a situation where Extra Emily is using DMCA takedowns to silence people repeating her own content back to her. That's not a good look, and this was a massive mistake. But let's continue. Number 3. It's been exhausting seeing all these harassing comments, clips, and videos towards me on a clip where my dad was just trolling me. I want to stand up for myself and stop misinformation from spreading. And I also ask that people on the internet take these clips with a grain of salt. Thanks. Again, this is just a clip sharing a portion of her own stream. And now she's trying to claim that it's spreading misinformation while also claiming that there's nothing transformative about the clip that was shared. That doesn't make any sense. You're basically telling on yourself. You're basically saying that the clip is sharing a...
It depends. It depends. It depends. Like, if I take the clip and I say, like, look what bad thing Extra Emily did, then I do think then that is spreading misinformation. If I take the clip and say, look, haha, Extra Emily's dad is trolling her, that's a different thing. That's not spreading misinformation. So it depends on what the clip was. It depends on how the clip is framed, I'd say.
A negative message about yourself. Again, if you don't want your father saying these things, if he has a history of trolling you on stream, then maybe don't call him. You gotta stop monetizing every single second of your life if you're so sensitive about people reacting to clips.
Very true, very true, very true.
That you're voluntarily sharing online. The proof also that there's some shame here is that, well, Extra Emily immediately deleted this clip. If you want a good piece of advice about the situation, if you thought that the clip shared from your own stream was spreading some sort of misinformation, instead of doing a shameless DMCA takedown, how about using your free speech to respond to it? Drop a reply with more context. Do a quote tweet. Or maybe do your own tweet on your own account. Instead, Emily does a DMCA takedown, which is clearly done out of insecurity. And
of course, it's done out of insecurity. It was the first drama of the college tuition not being paid back, and then the red light that she ignored, in combination with then the clip getting posted. This is a what do you call this? Like a, it's just like a desperation react. It's a reaction out of desperation because she doesn't want to be in more drama. I'd assume that's what it is.
And a desire to censor anyone sharing a clip from her own content that portrays her in a negative light. This whole situation is very shameless, and she deserves all the flack. And this, keep in mind, really reflects the response that was given to the account Yeet, who was the subject of this DMCA takedown. They say right in the actual infringement statement here that these clips are taken out of context of my live stream. I own my live stream content, and this account did nothing to make it his own. He just ripped the video off my live stream without changing it, and it is infringing on my work. Again, this is someone taking a clip of a public stream and then providing criticism. That should not be taken down. At the very least, outside of any sort of legal statements, it's very insecure and just a bad look. And they even acknowledge that under the statute they're using to file this DMCA, that they'll be liable for any damages, including attorney's fees.
I mean, here's this, right? She could have just privately reached out to Yeet, said, this clip, makes me look bad here, and here's the context, and then just friendly asked Yeet to, you can nowadays edit tweets, right? Like, you can edit posts. He could have just edited the post, given additional context, and the problem would have been solved. Bad way to handle this. Really bad way.
If they knowingly and materially misrepresent that reported material or activity is infringing. So they are setting themselves up for a lawsuit here that apparently Yeats, with the backing of Dan Saltman, are ready to make. This is a horrible idea. This whole tweet, this whole response is just doubling down on this DMCA takedown, and they're shamelessly saying that they want to silence criticism. It's very obvious that's what they were doing. But the replies on this are brutal. You see Omni saying this tweet might be worse than the clip you took down. 100%.
Definitely is. That response is worse. That response is most certainly worse. Absolutely is. Welcome back, Cricket. It's just, ugh. Ah, of course. Horpie is responding to this. Of course. I stream completely naked on Twitch.
100% agree. Then Morgue Pie decides to share her opinion as if anyone asked, and it's the only reply that she replied to.
Catching strays here, be like, who asked? Who the fuck asked?
By the way, where she says, I think the precedent you're setting of not putting up with BS drama and harassment is far more valuable than the ones they are whining about. Actually, I think it's a really bad precedent to abuse the DMCA system to silence people or sharing publicly available clips that make you look bad. Personally, I think that's bad. I think personally clamping down on freedom of speech is a bad idea, but I guess Morgue Pie, the legal eagle, the genius here, disagrees. Okay, as if that means anything, but other people saying that's not how the DMCA works, people citing the actual statute. This person saying, LOL, your dad always trolls you. How are people taking it seriously? Well, yeah, like people like me, for example, are acknowledging that her dad was trolling, that he was teasing her. What is she going to do? DMCA my video? Like, go ahead if you really...
Not everybody, right? Good night, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye, Zoom. Take care. Also, it's like, not everybody gets that, though. Not everybody's smart enough to understand that it's just trolling.
Really want. Go ahead and try. I think that's a big mistake, by the way. But what is different from me and the people sharing this clip? Are they trying to say that there's something different? Because their reasoning isn't just, oh, I own this content. It's, oh, I own this content. It's making me look bad. Well, my video is making you look bad. Are you going to take down my video next? I don't know. I guess we'll wait. But other people saying you cooked yourself. You just made the point one statement after the clip got traction. That would have been posted and spread by Yeet as well. You're a public figure. You can't ask for the limelight and then abuse the copyright system once the attention you're getting isn't what you want. Streamers really be out of touch. This is going to get worse. Cool. So you admit to abusing DMCA takedowns and so on and so forth. DMCA is meant to protect copyrighted content, not manage criticism, context, or narrative control. Exactly. And this person says, sue them. For what?
For reposting a clip? With the full context on? The only way I could see it being a problem if it was framed negatively. That's the only way I could see it. Like, look what bad thing Emily did, and then the clip underneath. Okay. That would probably infuriate me too if it's out, because then it would be misinformation. But otherwise, I don't think so.
If they're upset about how that clip makes them look, maybe some self-reflection is in order. Maybe don't share every aspect of your life. Maybe don't stream every second of your life. And just, I don't know, don't put yourself in these situations. This whole thing is completely and utterly ridiculous. And this statement is blatantly hypocritical. It is openly admitting to abusing the DMCA system to silence critics. And it's shameless. The whole thing is shameless. They made a mountain out of a molehill, and it's their fault. There's no one else to blame for any of this. They don't like the way they look from their own actions, and they're trying to silence people sharing it. That's all there is to it. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section.
My thoughts are very simple. She could have reached out privately to Yeet. She could have made a post. She could have made a quote tweet, a reply. Just, you know, clarifying the thing and then move on. She didn't do that. Instead, she posted half an essay and DMCA used the DMCA system to silence people and used it and abused it and used it wrongfully. Very simple. My take is very simple. This could have been done in like 2 or 3 days, not even. But that's when you do desperation attempts, and what if that is even a word? If you do something out of desperation of not wanting to be more drama, well, guess you should have never streamed the college tuition thing. Guess you should have never streamed yourself ignoring a red light. Then this would be half as bad. But you took another dump on top of two dumps already. This might be a lesson learned, maybe not, we'll see.